Hi, I'm Stu, and we're going to cover how to install your own fiber optic service. So the first thing you need to do is locate the fiber optic cable in your home or in your suite. If you're in an apartment, typically it'll come out of a little white box like this. Might be a slightly different shaped white box. In a house or even in an apartment, it may have been pushed through from the outside by your technician. Regardless, you're going to find the cable. They typically come in white, yellow, and black. Doesn't matter what color. And they pretty much all have the same green end on them. So the first thing we're going to do is, once you found that, you're going to take a little cap off the end. Be careful not to touch the fiber optic end. You don't want to make that dirty if you can avoid it. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to plug it into what's called an ONT. There's kind of three standard models you're going to see. One is this one from Nokia. This is probably the most common. To plug into this, you're going to open up this little port on the back just by lifting it up. You're going to take the plug and you're going to plug it in. Be careful in that the plug is keyed, so it will only go in one way, so it should go in nice and smooth and click into place. To take it out again, all we're going to do is grip the plastic, not the cord, give it a tug straight out. So that's your first ONT. Next ONT you're likely to see is this one from Huawei. It's fairly similar, but there's no plug-in on the back. Instead, what you're going to do, flip it over. There's a little plate here. Requires a Phillips screwdriver. Then you can take the plate off. Pop that free. Just a little protective dust cover. We pop that out. And then same thing, we're just going to plug it right in there. Again, only ever plugs in one way, so you should never have to force it. Then you're going to run the cord through the channel to keep it nice and controlled. And you're going to put the cover back on. The last one that you might deal with is what's called an SFP. These are little suckers. They look like this. The way these work, same thing, we're going to plug that cable in. Again, only plugs in one way. And now it's plugged into the ONT. Now you have to connect your ONT to the modem. There's typically two modems you're going to see. One is this white Arcadian, and one is this black T3200. So in either case, they're going to plug in with the ONT if it's this SFP. It only plugs in one way, so if you put it in the correct way, it'll snap into place. If it's wrong, it just won't go in. So you just flip it 180 degrees, plug it in, click, good to go. If, on the other hand, you're using the Arcadian, you need to flip down the little door, plug it in. Again, only plugs in one way, so you should hear that nice little click. Plug the cable in, good to go. If you're not using the SFP ONT, so you're using either the Nokia or the Huawei, what you need to do is you need to plug it into data port 1 or LAN port 1. So on the Nokia, it's labeled data port 1, it's right here. On the Huawei, it's LAN port 1, it's on the other end. So make sure you plug your network cable into the correct one. So I plug my network cable in to the correct port. Then I'm going to plug the other end of my network cable into the WAN port on my modem. On the Arcadian, that's the bottom port that's labeled LAN or WAN, so I plug it in like that. On the T3200, it's also the bottom port, but in this case, it's just labeled WAN and it's a white port. So either way, bottom port, plug that in, good to go.